love this team. I love this network. I love our members. Sometimes I'm like, why has my soul chosen destinies that are really fucking hard? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fusion Radio Live. I'm your host, Jessica Daylover, and with me today, the CEO of Nuclear Fusion Network, it's Pia Malika. That's my, like, you're coming out onto the court.
That's what it felt like. I saw myself. It was like Space Jam. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Oh my God, can we do a Space Jam choreography dance at our next retreat?
Yes, absolutely.
Prepare everyone, because Nuclear Fusion Network is getting ready for our next live retreat. It's going to be lit.
It's going to be lit.
Today, we're going to talk about something that I think everybody on the live, wow, 8 people on the live. Thank y'all for being here. Happy Monday morning. If you are watching the recording and you want to join us live, check out our live schedule, the virtual events inside Nuclear Fusion Network, because you'll see we're doing about a live a week, and it's super fun because you can actually talk to us and we can respond to you. But if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching the recording. If you're listening to the podcast on all of our podcast listening platforms, thank you so much. Subscribe now at nuclearfusionnetwork.com. Did I tell you I watched this thing about voiceovers and like Gen Z, like, changed the field of voiceovers. Well, actually, millennials changed the field of voiceovers. Jim from The Office, specifically, as a voice actor, like, took it from this thing to this, like, I'm just talking to somebody conversationally, and like the entire field of like what's acceptable as a voiceover, because millennials and Gen Z and below get really turned off when somebody's like this.
Right.
We're like, ew, I think it's because we feel like we're being sold to, and our collective generational demand avoidance is like, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, hey, we've got the world checking in, calling in the corners. We've got Belgium. We've got the UK. Where's everybody else from? We're going to be talking today about something very transparent because, oh, hey, Iowa in the house. Oh, Mars. I knew that already.
Right.
Listen, Pia and I are aliens, so we welcome the alien kind. We are inclusive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually from Venus, but you know,
cool.
I just say New York City though, because that's more palatable.
I just say New York City because people know where that is.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking today about something that I actually made content about, and I'm sure most of the people on this chat already know about. And transparency is one of our core values. It's a part of the way that we set up our business as a teal organization. I feel like the next live that Chris does should be teal organization. Let's remember to tell him. So I thought I recently made a long form piece of content for our socials that I thought I was gonna regret. And I don't know if me starting the video with "please don't make me regret this" actually made a difference. But I am really, really shocked as a person who lives on the internet and deals with the fuckery of comments. I was like so surprised. Like, I haven't checked comments today, but I mean, it's been up for like 72 hours, I think. And still, I have not gotten an annoying comment at all. Which I just jinxed it. I know that for sure. But in case you don't know, I'm going to take you on a journey. So if you do know, you're going to rehear the story. If you don't know, I'd rather tell the story that way because I'm a storyteller.
Seatbelts on, y'all.
Yeah. So for context for new listeners, we are Nuclear Fusion app. It has been, Odette just said in the chats that it's been constructive and wholesome, and I agree. Yeah. Constructive and wholesome. That means we have built a really good following, if that's the vibe in our comments.
Yeah, we're talking like over 100 comments, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's crazy. Also, that's the most engagement we've ever had on a piece of content ever. Okay, backing up. Backing up. Hi, April. Thanks for being here. So we launched Nuclear Fusion Network, Pia. Is it really 3 years ago? Well, we started the process 3 years ago. The app didn't go live
Right.
until 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yep.
That's still wild.
I know.
Like, we've known each other that long. That's super wild. Nuclear Fusion Network is a village building platform. We help people build community with care, courage, and accountability. We help folks build real, resilient, interdependent village where they live in real life. It's not just online vibes. It started that way. We have developed, that's also a part of a teal organization, is that your evolutionary purpose is constantly changing and you're constantly releasing what you thought you were here to do. And it's such a beautiful way to do business. The app was built by neurodivergent queers. It was designed for people who don't fit well into traditional systems. And contrary to that asshole in different comments yesterday, that was creepy. He was definitely some kind of weird bot. The app has nothing to do with polyamory, but a lot of polyamorous people are in the app, and a lot of people who exist outside of scripts are inside Nuclear Fusion Network, whether that's gender, ideology, like family systems, neurodivergence, trauma, etc. So when we first launched our app, we had 3-tiered pricing. $1.99 a month, $1.99 a month, $4.99 a month, and $9.99 a month. At the time, our intention was that the $1.99 a month was the accessible tier. And pretty quickly, like immediately, we got so dragged. And what's so interesting about what's happening now in our comments, where everything's like really supportive, is that there were no supportive comments at that time. It was just people who were like, go figure, another group of millennials launch community behind a paywall. Oh, just what we need. Another community building app that you have to pay. You shouldn't have to pay for access to community, et cetera, et cetera. And in the end, this is an example of, like I said, we are a teal organization. We'll explain what that means in a different live call with Chris, because they're the expert. But part of a teal organization is that you are constantly examining the choices that you're making, whether or not they're in alignment with your values, and looking at your evolutionary purpose. Because teal organizations, we don't chase profit, we chase our evolutionary purpose. We believe that we are an organization that is here to make a difference in the world, and every decision we make is in alignment with that purpose and not with profit. And so we were like, yeah, why is our community behind a paywall? Also, not only was the community behind a paywall at the time, but it was higher tiers got you more access to the resources that we were creating. So there was hierarchy. And we were like, how are we going to have no hierarchy in the back end of our business, but then have this hierarchy for our users? It was not in integrity with who we wanted to be or what we wanted to create. And so the internet backlash actually did lead to, I think, a really good pivot in our evolutionary purpose. Okay. Yes. So we had a come to gay Jesus moment, and we were like, let's pivot, which was that was the first major pivot our team made, and it was delicious and beautiful. So not only did we dismantle all of the hierarchy in our app, so there's no more like higher tiers had access to more resources, but we also launched a free tier. So in addition to $1.99, $4.99, and $9.99, we launched a free tier. We changed all of the copy on the membership tiers to say, we are using a mutual aid sliding scale model. Please join at the membership tier that you can afford. This is how Village Care works. Those who join at higher tiers are paying for those who can't afford, blah, blah, blah. And we felt really good about that.
We also made sure we changed it so all features are available no matter what plan you're on.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. We dismantled all the hierarchy in the back end, so you got access to all
right.
No, thanks for reiterating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this felt really good. And it was a good thing to do because we scaled. Our
Yes.
following, our memberships
It
tripled
grew. Yeah.
like in a month.
In a month. Yeah.
And that was like, okay, well, that's clearly what we needed to do. And that felt good, especially because at the time we were really focusing on being a connection-based app. And so we needed more members in there. And so we're like, let's, pivot to this. And I feel like we we were still building because the point we launched with what we called as is. We launched our app as is, um, meaning we knew that our app wasn't ready. We were still building out our Fusion Education Library, the Fusion methodology, our business plan. We were building so many things. The reason we launched as is because all of the people who had been following the project, and especially those who backed the Kickstarter, were like, we want to start connecting now. We want to start connecting now. It's going to take y'all years. If we have to wait until the app is ready, like, it's going to take years. And so is there a way that your fans and supporters can start connecting with each other now while you build the app? So we're like, you know what? And that's actually literally why we launched a Mighty Network. That's actually our first major pivot, is when we decided to abandon fundraising
Yeah.
and building our beta app. And we launched our Mighty Network, which is where you guys are now. And that is how y'all ended up in there. And so we kept emphasizing, just so you know, it's as is, as
Right.
is. And that felt good too, because it felt good to have a free tier, because we also had, I think, some feelings about being as is, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, it's imperfect, so we know we're coming out with some scratches and some bruises, and don't look there though, messy corners of the house, We actually use the
Party.
the house party metaphor. So it's like as if we have rooms still under construction, the decor isn't matching. And we're like, don't, pardon the mess, that was our invitation to coming into the house.
Mm-hmm. Charles says, As is a great Ani DeFranco song. And Charles, you have to hear this interview I did with Ani DeFranco in my radio days. I was on one of the dopest radio stations in the world, and I got to interview Ani DeFranco, and we fall in love with each other live in the interview, and you can hear it happen. And it's also just an incredible interview, because I try to always give incredible interviews. You're never going to hear me be like, what do you write first, the lyrics or the music? You have Ani DeFranco in front of you and you don't think of interesting questions. I will put the link in the chat. Okay. We launched as is. We had this free tier. It was all access, no matter what. There was no hierarchy. We were scaling. And now it's however many 2 years later. And 90% of our users are currently on the free tier. And the business has been in the red. And the only reason that we are still here, is, to be totally honest, is because of these little miracles, actually big miracles. I don't know what to call them. They are miracles, because I do think that the universe has blessed this project. And we have an investor who sends us money every month to make sure that the 4 founders are getting paid, but it is not enough for any of us to actually live on. And there has come a point where she's like, if y'all don't figure this out, though, I can't keep doing this forever. It's literally just her personal money she direct deposits into our account. Yes, should we just say it's $1,000 for each of the founders a month? And we work pretty much full time for $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But shout out to our investor for spending $4,000 a month of her own money on this project. Direct deposit. She is a philanthropic investor. It's debt free. When I say like there are miracles behind this project, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, so with 90% of our users on the free tier, like we just aren't making enough money. Luckily, we are covering our overhead. So the money that we bring in through the 10% of paid tiers is enough to cover all of the like service fees and stuff that we have to pay, and membership fees. So then we decide, well, none of us have time to fundraise because we're all full-time building the app. So like 2 months ago, we're like, well, what if we just go find somebody to fundraise for us? So we put out a call Here comes another miracle. Two phenomenal people, completely in alignment with our leftist business model, purpose over profit. They find us with one post, which is like wild.
Wild.
And can you talk about, without saying their name, because I don't know if we have permission to do that, can you talk briefly about this person that we found?
All right. So the first person that we matched with for this role, and we're still in the negotiating our and solidifying the agreements, which is why we're being vague. But
I'm pulling up their LinkedIn so I can speak better about who they are.
Because it's like I kind of want to describe them as like a money shaman.
Yes.
Right?
They
like
are. They are
money
a
shaman.
Spiritual, indigenous, like African indigenous, like I think they would agree with money shaman. Yeah.
Yeah, financial advisor, but like, so it has the cred, right? In regards to like the things you need to like do to be certified, but then also has like this ancestral passing of codes. So then they merge it together to create this.
It's very nuclear fusion coded.
It's very nuclear fusion coded. We're like, we didn't even know those existed. Right?
No, we didn't. No, we were all like, so they are a global reparative wealth strategist, devotional medicine,
wealth strategist. That's a good
wealth strategist. They work with government institutions, billion-dollar philanthropies, and visionary founders.
Right.
Building sacred economic ecosystems rooted in justice and care. A master of user-centered design, ancestral intelligence, and systems-level storytelling, abundance transforms money into epic love stories that realign power with purpose. They are devoted to designing infrastructure of collective joy, economic sovereignty, and generational healing. I can't even. Also, they're really hot. Like, you should know that. That they are one of the most beautiful humans I've ever seen in my life. They are a Black trans man, deeply connected to their, they are initiated into their sacred African indigenous tradition.
Initiated.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how they work with capital. And so we're like, yeah, we'll meet with you. Sign it up. Because the whole time that we have launched this project and we have said we're doing things differently. We're doing things differently. We're going to be purpose over profit. We're not going to go after venture capital money. We refuse. People have been like, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And it's not going to work. And we're still here. We found an investor who gave us money debt-free, just philanthropic money. And now we found this person. And it's just like, in some ways, I feel like we're failing because we are in the red. But in other ways, we're not because we're still fucking here, bitch.
Right. Yeah, it's very polarizing. It's an emotional roller coaster.
Like, so you go ahead.
No, just being like super grateful for the magic and super pumped for, the mission, but then also like hit with reality that, we got bills to pay and I'm spending 12 hours on a business that I'm not getting paid for those hours directly. So it's a juggle.
Yeah, it really is. So we meet with them because they have to interview us because they only take 12 clients a year into their portfolio. So they're interviewing us to make sure that we even have what it takes, right, to play at their level. And so we sit down with them. First of all, their presence it's even on Zoom. It's intense and grounding.
It's like everything slows down. And then all of a sudden there's just silence.
It's just, wow.
Yeah.
And so we're chatting and they ask us to give them a health sample of like where our business is right now. And we're like, well, and they're like, why? And we said we were in survival and they're like, why are y'all in survival? You have almost 2,000 members. And we explain the whole backstory, inclusivity, non-hierarchy, in alignment with our values, blah, blah, blah. We're here to build an inclusive, accessible app, and it takes a village. And they're like, oh, okay, so it takes a village, right? And we're like, yeah, exactly. And they're like, okay, so you brought the app to the potluck. And we're like, yeah. And they're like, and what are the free tier members, the 90% of the members at this potluck who aren't paying for the app, what are they bringing to the 4 founders? Like, they thought the screen froze. They were like, hello? But the screen wasn't frozen. The 3 founders on the call were just like, we didn't know what to say. We were speechless. And we didn't have an answer. And I was like, oh, are we failing? Are we failing the interview? And I have to say, as a white leftist, it was really a fucking humbling moment for me because I was like, I fucking got it wrong again. I'm like, here I am trying to understand decolonial practices. And I think the decolonial practice is give everything away, make it accessible. Don't let anybody critique us for having a paid app. Like, don't keep community from anybody, right? Like that's the decolonial thing to do. And then, here's this person who is an expert and plays with billions of dollars at their level saying, no, you've gotten it wrong again.
Right. Because we're in that framework, we're exploiting ourselves to free labor, and that's capitalistic.
The exploitation was still there, but was to
Right.
ourselves.
Right.
Ooh, that's uncomfortable.
I know. I just processed it over the weekend. Just the free labor, because, for example, like we're finding that like restaurants, and these are like more fast food restaurants and like more chain stores, like Target, Whole Foods, they have like mostly self-checkouts now, right? They don't even have cash registers anymore. So like they're exploiting the consumers to do their own labor, right? Because now you're checking yourself out. Now you're bagging your own stuff. And that used to be someone else's job, but now they've figured out a way to make it so the consumers are doing the labor instead, right? And we, in this, like, in the framework that we put together of wanting to like give everything for free, we're exploiting ourselves. And that's the pain points that we're like really facing right now. And that was shined upon us in front of this person, this magical person.
And I love this team. I love this network. I love our members. Sometimes I'm like, why has my soul chosen destinies that are really fucking hard? Because like my 2 evolutionary purposes as a human, remodeled love, nuclear fusion. Remodeled love is all about expanding the cultural narrative on love and family and motherhood. And I do it on the internet. It's not always a great time. And then what we're doing here is culturally super challenging. And it's so interesting because it's like, I'm a controversial content creator within the polyamory niche, not just because the, conservative people hate me, but even within the polyamory niche, I'm either you love me or hate me. And then once again, nuclear fusion. Obviously, people on the right are like, rah, these hippies. But then even within leftists and liberal, even then, it's like people are like, what are they doing? They're exploiting community. And it's like divisive even within the niche. And people accuse me of loving that because I'm an Enneagram 8 and a Sagittarius with demand avoidance. But I don't. I just want everyone to say I'm doing a good job all the time. Yeah. So it's really humbling. And I guess like I kind of wish I could go back to that time where we were just getting so dragged for having, the $1.99 wasn't the accessible tier. And I want to ask, if it's exploitive to have ask people to pay for community, how is it not exploitive to expect everything for free. And so I made this video. Everything we just spent the last 30 minutes talking about, I made somehow in a 6-minute video for the internet to put it out there, because this fundraiser asked us this question and we haven't been able to answer it. So I took it to the internet saying, does anyone have any idea what the answer to their question is about about what they're bringing to the potluck and how that's not exploitive, and we don't want to get rid of our free tier. That's not really on the table.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of what that seemed like they were encouraging us to do, we were like, no, that's not what we're going to do. And so it seems like we're at this like crossroads, and I wanted to know what our members and our followers thought. And we got so many thoughtful comments, and you've read them all. Do you want to kind of summarize the range of what you've seen? And thank you for being in our comments.
What was beautiful was, well, we had people like inspired to join right then and there who were brand new. So like people who haven't been in the network yet, they were like, I just joined at $1.99 impulsively, and I'm not even impulsive. And then we had folks that are already in their network and was like, oh my God, I didn't realize I'm in the 90% bucket. I just changed my tier. Now I'm in the 10% bucket and I'm proud, And we're like, wow, people are feeling inspired, because that $1.99 makes a difference.
Because if all of, if 100% of our members were even on the $1.99 a month tier,
it would be like
the
quadruple.
financial reality of the
it would quadruple what we're
we would actually be able to,
like,
it'd be crazy.
Yeah, like pay people. Grow our team a little bit. We also had tons of folks like suggesting ideas, like genuinely providing some strategy, some like thought questions. Have you tried this? Have you heard about how they're doing it?
Yeah.
It was
like
very
a 7-day free trial.
Right.
Things like that, which are things that we've considered, but
Right.
I still don't feel ready to part with the free tier.
Yeah, because there's still a population that shouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, correct.
For sure. And we want to keep that door open for them.
Yeah.
But we want to trust humanity to know, to self-evaluate that I'm not that person, which means I should choose one of the paid tiers.
Yeah.
And $1.99 isn't a lot to ask for,
Yeah.
Especially if you're paying for Netflix, right? And Amazon.
The amount that I pay in streaming services as somebody with kids is actually horrifying. Well, a lot of people were talking about other ways that the people on the accessible tiers, what they can bring, which is something Odette has brought up, several other members have brought up, of allowing our members, and even if you're a paid member, allowing our members to host things and do things inside the network, which we are very much about.
Yeah.
We just need the hours to.
Yeah, and the infrastructure, because we can't just let anyone take the keys. We got to create a process. So you know how to handle the keys and how to return the keys, how to clean the keys, So there's just infrastructure we need to build, but there's only 4 of us, right?
And we still need to,
and we're not getting So every week is reprioritizing, and every time we reprioritize, that means something is not being prioritized, right?
We're pretty much in triage every week.
Yeah.
We have a parking lot of things, and then like every week in our staff meetings, we have to decide, okay, this is going to the parking lot, and we have to deal with this, heart attack right now. Yeah. It's been really interesting to toss this out there, and I really love having these conversations inside the app, and which is why we're doing it on the live right now, and I'm going to create a podcast out of this, because we do want to create a new way of doing things. There were several people in the comments talking about that the real exploitive apps have ruined what we feel entitled to. With regard to what we get on the internet.
Yes.
So then people who can pay for an app, you know what? It's same with if I may mention the like porn industry. People are like, why would you pay for an OnlyFans when you can get free exploitive porn? you know? And it's like, well, you pay for an OnlyFans because you want to support the, sexual artist directly.
Right.
Same thing with our app is like there are so many apps that actually are capitalistic, that actually are you are paying for your data and your attention,
Right.
but it has created a consumer who feels like we should not have to pay for anything.
Yeah, it's this sense of entitlement.
Mhm.
And,
And that's
content
the real
creators.
capitalism,
Right.
ironically.
Right. Yeah, content creators are the ones like on the forefront of it, right? Because the amount of hours folks are just consuming content, but feel like they shouldn't have to pay for it because it's free on Instagram or TikTok.
Mhm. But it's not free.
But right,
It feels free.
right,
But they are mining your data and they are mining your attention. You are the cost, you are the price. And we're building actually something not exploitive like that. We are building something created by and for the community. So checking the comments on our live right now. Nathan says
yeah,
somebody has to pay for the work y'all are doing. That could be grants, that could be closing the free tier, that could be Wikipedia style we need support banners. But if the work y'all are doing isn't compensated, the resources and community you're making simply won't exist. And that's not better.
right.
I'm fully behind whatever strategy y'all pursue. But as a member of this community, I do want to see that there is a plan.
Mm,
Okay.
I
So
like
that's good.
accountability.
I like accountability too. And okay, well, on that note, we will announce that we were accepted into Handsome Money Shaman's portfolio.
Yeah, we've been accepted to be a part of the cohort. We just need to
Um,
dot our
Cohort is
I's,
actually an interesting Freudian slip. Cohort.
right?
We were accepted. I kind of want to pull up the first page of their acceptance letter because it made all of us cry.
Yeah, like feeling, oh my God, I haven't felt so seen, like with nuclear fusion before. Let me see if I can, like, someone like, they just nailed it.
At the end of our first meeting, they're like, I'm going to go think about whether or not I'm going to take you guys on. Like I said, I only take 12 clients a year and I only take people who are ready to like do the work and play at this level because their goal eventually is to raise so much money for an organization that they never have to fundraise again. And there's a number behind that that I'm not actually going to say at this time. But then they say, I'm going to take a week and think about it and get back to you. And then they send us, they're like, hey, I'm ready to give you all my answer, but I'm not going to send it to you. I want to read it to you.
Right,
And I'm telling y'all, I was like, that's interesting. And then the second they start reading, like their cadence, their
right.
presence, like, I'm like, oh, this is why they wanted to read to us because they knew
Yeah,
they were going to make us cry. And they hold such a big space. Like, they are initiated into their indigenous African practice. They are initiated at the highest level. They are the highest level of spiritual role that they can be. And you can feel that shit when you're on the call. And so they're reading us this acceptance letter. Did you pull it up?
yeah, I did.
Okay, Pia is going to read to you this human's letter to us, letting us know that they have decided to take us on.
So the first line is, I choose you. I choose you, Jess, Chris, Pia, Annie, Holly. I choose you because you are building infrastructure for one of the deepest ruptures of this era, loneliness. I feel your understanding of loneliness as a nervous system wound, as a social fracture, as a public health issue, as a spiritual ache. And I choose you because you are not building from emptiness, you're building from trust. 3 years of trust, 3 years of conflict moved through, 3 years of choosing each other slowly enough that you would trust fall off of a building with one another. That matters. What I encountered was a team rich in love, emotional intelligence, shadow work, ethical alignment, ritual intelligence, and deep care. a team that knows how to repair, a team that knows how to speak about money honestly, a team that has already proven itself trustworthy enough for an angel donor to move from lender to debt-free believer. That kind of trust is not small. That is a fundraising asset. That is a turn on for capital. That is vault worthy. The work of nuclear fusion is not month-to-month work. It is century work.
Wow.
Actually, I'm going to stop there because
Yeah.
that line got me so good. And because this person I felt like there's one thing to be heard, right? Or it's one thing to like listen, but then there's another to be heard, right? This person heard us enough to take our words that we spoke and like brought it back to us. So that last line, I'm going to read it again. This work of nuclear fusion is not month-to-month work. It is century work. Why that stood out to me is because when they asked, where are we at in our finances right now? Like my answer was, we're month to month. We're in month-to-month survival, right? We literally are it's really month to month. And they put that back to us and said, it's not month-to-month work. It's century work. And I can keep highlighting the parts that they took our words and like reframed it back to us. And that's true listening. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, wow, they heard us beyond what we can even see. Like they took that one line and saw the rest of the page that we were like putting down. And not everyone can do that, yo. So we were impressed. We were very impressed.
I was crying.
Yeah.
Our investor was on the call because they also had to be a part of the decision, and we were kind of like, oh, we're not sure how this is going to go because they live in, and our investor was like also speechless, like we're in. This human is so cool.
Afterwards she was like, well, we have to do it. Like there's no other option.
Yeah. There is I'm just looking at their LinkedIn, and they have their name and then in parentheses Abundance Zaddy.
Yeah.
AKA Abundance Zaddy. Like, it's giving, when you're on a call with them, it's giving very much Zaddy. Like
right.
very much. So Nathan, this is the reason we did this is you asked to know about strategy, which I love that you asked, and then you followed up with like, hey, just so you guys know, I don't, need it right now. But to answer your question, after we were accepted into their portfolio, they were like, y'all need work though, because you're not ready. Because like, and maybe this gets too woo for some of y'all. It's not too woo for the team. We were 100% on board. And I think that there is a non-woo understanding of
yeah, because it's mentality.
Yeah. It was basically like, if I raised $2 million for you guys right now, your team would implode. Not because we don't have the business plan infrastructure, not because we don't have they were saying some teams implode because they don't have the trust. We have the trust. Some teams implode because they don't have the infrastructure. We actually have the financial and legal infrastructure. Like we are so fucking blessed. Even like we literally have a lawyer. That's also our investor. That was hot at the end where they're like, okay, if you want to have your lawyer talk to him, we're like, yeah, okay, let's do it. But they were saying like metaphysically, the 4 founders aren't ready. And so they actually have a training program that you have to. So as far as strategy goes, they work with us over the next 18 months to 3 years on implementing strategy. So we are now entering a training program with them where they will help us with strategy and messaging and building our relationship with non-extractive investors and things like that. So not only are they coming in to raise money for us, they're also teaching us how to even apply strategy. And they always say, if your fundraising isn't sexy, you're not doing it right.
Right.
Yeah. We also found somebody who possibly wants to write grants for us. I know there's some talk of grants. So if you guys ever come across a grant that you think we apply for, we're women owned, we're BIPOC led, We're queer, own, neurodivergent. So like if you ever come across a business grant that you think we apply for, please send it to us. Qualify for is the word I meant. Yeah. So this is a really fun, messy place that we're at. And it's been fun to bring y'all into the journey, because what we realized is it takes a village to literally build a village building app. It's so meta.
So meta.
Because the other way around, it was just the four of us trying to build a village building app.
Right.
But when people help by writing grants, volunteering time, hosting live events, or paying a membership fee, the village is building the village building app. And
With
that
us.
it has to be that way to be in integrity. We weren't in integrity when we were giving our shit away.
Yeah, we were enslaving ourselves.
Yeah.
Oof.
Sorry, that's landing for me because that's what I'm working on. I also have a leadership coach for nuclear fusion that works with me personally. And then that turned into kinky leadership coaching because they are kinky and I am kinky. And that helped me a lot. Kink just helps me get around my neurodivergence. Like my neurodivergence can really stand in the way of therapy and coaching and expansion for me, because I start resisting pretty much because I'm a rat. And so anyway, it's not sexual, but it is erotic. And yeah, that what you just said is what I'm working on over there. Is they really dragged me in our last session because they were like, "Oh, look at Jessica, she's such a good white person." She said, and they're not white. She's such a good white person. She gives everything away for free. Look at her. And I was just like, yeah, that is. Look at me. I'm not exploitive.
While exploiting yourself.
Kinky.
Right.
Yeah. I want to go back and read some of these comments. Odette said that they managed to extract the essence of nuclear. Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
literally.
that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Even if they didn't take us on for fundraising, I am so excited because we looked at the curriculum of the program they're putting us through in order to join their portfolio. And I'm like, it looks so fun. The shit that we're going to be learning.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to introduce us, like open doors for us, introduce us to put us in front of folks who, align with our values and have the money to back it. So I'm just so excited to be in those spaces while they prep us on how to be in those spaces, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly what we were asking for.
Pia, how do you feel about the free trial idea?
Well, the free trial, it doesn't make sense for the free trial to exist while you have a free tier, because then what's the point of the free trial?
Sorry,
right?
I meant in lieu of the free tier.
Right. Yeah, so I'm just bringing context to that, because bringing in a free trial would mean we would remove the free tier, right? And well, if I remove, because again, the deal breaker with that is like there are a population of people on this earth that need a free. So
and deserve it.
Yeah, and deserve it, right? So if I were to put that aside, because to me that takes the argument alone.
Yeah, you're right.
So like if I were to put that aside, right? A trial, like I imagine that anyone on a trial would come in with a mindset of like, I need to prove that this is worth it, right? So they're coming in critiquing, right? If I'm going to come in with a trial, I'm going to critique, is this worth it to me? And right?
I don't like that.
Right. And if we're saying that we're in a problem where people are just entitled, I predict that most people are going to come in and be like, not worth it, and not even give it really a real try. You know what I mean? Like, not even like an honest effort.
Okay, can I share something? So I talk a
Mhm.
lot about my like one of my best friends in town is me, but on a grassroots local level. She owns literally a community center that is it's a hub for pregnant and postpartum people and their families. But it's also just a community center that anybody is welcome at. And she deals with all of the same issues because she hosts a lot of events that people are like, I can't believe you charge for that.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, we have rent. They have a literal building
Right.
that is very expensive because Reno is a rising, yeah, that the market here is rising. And they have teachers that host the event so that it's facilitated, so that you're not just walking into a room and having to network yourself with other crying moms with their crying babies because they're all hormonal and they pushed out a baby a month ago and now they're trying to make mom friends, right? It's facilitated, it's held, it's because there's a lot of trauma in those spaces. So it's all trauma informed, professionally, stuff. And people are like, you shouldn't be charging for this. You shouldn't be charging for this. And we were talking the other day, and I hope she does a full episode with me on this, but this speaks to what you're talking about with the free trial, is she will have somebody who thinks it should be free, but buy a ticket begrudgingly. But
Right.
then they come to the event with that energy that you were
Right.
just talking about
Right.
with like the free trial. And I do think to some extent when you do get a free trial, you are vetting. Is
Right.
this worth it for me? And it
Right.
is an opportunity for the business or the organization to prove it is.
Right.
Like, I totally understand that to some extent we do need to show you value in 7 days. However, what my friend was saying was that people come in and because the work of community, oh, so good, because the work of community is the work of vulnerability. If that person doesn't have the ability to what she called critique their own inner monologue,
Right.
they're going to have a bad time and there's nothing that you can do about it, which then actually circles back to maybe it is good that that they're not here. But it's like we want to give people a chance because then these people pay to go to her event, but they're the type of person that was like, this should have been free, and they can't critique their own inner monologue of like, well, when I walk in, this is what should happen. People should come up to me. I should be greeted. I should da
Right.
da
The
da. I should.
expectations.
They
Yeah.
they don't actually have the ability to be vulnerable, and community requires vulnerability.
Right.
So then their experience is completely overshadowed by the fact that they were closed off, had an attitude, and they had an expectation that wasn't met
Right.
because they saw themselves as, I don't know, I don't want to say a customer because they are a customer, but it's like, yes, you paid for access, but it's still a community building space.
Right.
It takes a village to build a village.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like the trial is like not setting up anyone to win here. It's because you can't build a community in a week. Right. So like
Yeah.
how long would the trial have to be for it to be like a genuine like incubator for you to test it out?
Odette saying, paying gets you into consumer mode and not into participant mode. Yes. Yes.
Right.
So yes, that's exactly what is happening. And it's
Right.
weird because then it's like, then you can move to this model where it's free, but then at the end you ask for donations. And then if you're like, if you were moved by this event,
Right.
and actually Charles is saying a short fundraising message on lives or videos about switching buckets if one can afford to do so.
Yeah.
That
We're
actually
s-
is one of our strategies. So we have
yeah,
a
we're starting to
script.
integrate that. Hmm.
We have a script that facilitators and teachers are supposed to read at the end of events. And another strategy is that we have automated emails that now
Hmm.
go out to all members asking, can you afford to go up a tier?
Right.
But these are really uncomfortable conversations. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable because people are like, "Oh, you should switch to ads." We will never switch to ads. We will
Oh
never
yeah.
switch to ads. We might allow somebody to sponsor,
Yeah. We
like a
might do
really
sponsorships that
value
are
aligned
aligned.
organization to
Right.
sponsor,
And
but we will never switch to ads. People don't
right.
want to be barked at all the time about, come spend your money, spend your money. It's like passing the tithing plate. We don't want to be out there giving creepy speeches about give us more money. But then also we want it to be accessible. But then also we want to give it, but then also, and it's like really fucking hard to do what we're doing.
Mel put something in the chat that's reminding me of the old tiers we had. Mel said you could do it like the Pay It Forward cafe in my town. I pay for my lunch plus I pay for someone else's lunch. The cafe has a sign for how many lunches they can give out until they run out. It motivates people to keep the fund full to keep our community fed. So in our old membership model, we had like a pay it forward tier where it was
I think
more
it was
than
14.99 a month or
um
24.99 a
I
month.
think it was 25. Yeah, it was 24.99, and we had that as the pay it forward tier, which then can pay for the people who are in the lower tiers or on we had a sponsorship back
Yeah.
end entry. We made it overcomplicated because we didn't trust humanity to just like pay what you can afford. And then we just like, we Jessica told you the story, we went for it, and we trust our model now. But the pay it forward model, it's interesting because you would think that would work, and we didn't find much success when we had that. And I think it also brought us the question of like folks who can afford to pay for others, what value do they get in the app, right?
Hmm.
Because you would imagine they have already abundance in their life while we're targeting people who are lacking that community, right?
But just because you have money doesn't mean you have
Right,
relational abundance.
right.
Yeah. Odette's asking why talking about sourcing is uncomfortable. That is a great question, and I would love to tell you. It is because I am hyper aware that in our culture, most people are uncomfortable, and I'm a people pleaser, so I am aware that I am making people uncomfortable. It's also uncomfortable, but I love this for us because we have the value of transparency with nuclear fusion. We are showing you our messiness, like literally live on this call. We are showing you like where we're at. And that is inherently uncomfortable because vulnerability is almost always uncomfortable. I think for me, also, I am a recovering talking about money is uncomfortable person. So sometimes I slip. But I am somebody who since 2008, and I do love this about myself. I think it's one of my most amazing qualities that I'm really proud of as a human is I'm very tenacious. And since moving to Reno in 2008, I have lived a significant portion of my life on trade. So I have walked into chiropractor offices and been like, "Hi, my name is Jessica. I cannot afford to pay you cash. Here is a literal menu of talents that I have. Is there anything that you need help with?" I have traded dental care, chiropractic care, feminine care, Pilates memberships, gym memberships, um,
Damn, girl.
childcare. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? And I actually have a hidden page on my website, my personal website, where now I just send people the link that has my active menu.
Yeah,
And
barter economy.
mhm, yeah, and in order to do that, the first few years, like you have to get, if you're going to live in a barter economy, you have to get really comfortable talking about money because it's really easy to set up an exchange that doesn't feel fair and then suddenly the energy feels off. And so you have to get really comfortable going, well, the cash price for this thing is this. And your cash price is this. And with exchange, sometimes it does not have to be one to one, but you do have to, yeah. So I have recovered slowly over time. I also handle a lot of contracts. I have a lot of independent contractors, and a lot of artists are really uncomfortable talking about money. So then they're uncomfortable. So then they don't ask for what they need, and then bridges get burned in the end. And so I've had to train myself over the last 20 years to be the person that's like, "Here's the price. How does that feel to you? Is that working?" Um, and that has trained this muscle for me. But I still slip back into, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still looking at Makosi's like LinkedIn and I'm just like thinking about how much they have pushed us with
Yeah,
this one question
right.
and my
Uh,
understanding of what it is we're doing here.
Yeah, this actually reminds me too of like how we got dragged on our gate question. When it was like, we had a gate question that was posed as like, what are you like expecting to give and receive by joining the network?
Mm,
It
people did not like that.
people did not like that. And there was like responses where it was like, well, I don't know what I'm giving yet. I still need to figure out what I'm receiving.
When it was neurodivergent, a lot of neurodivergent people being triggered by the lack of context in the question,
Hmm.
which was fair.
Right.
But then other people were triggered on a like bullshit
Right.
kind of. Um, I Nathan just said, I like want to screenshot this and send it to the team. Most apps intentionally make the user experience worse and then charge people to remove pain points for
Right.
money I love, love,
That's so
love that
real.
y'all are taking a radically different approach. Thank you.
That's
Thank
so
you
real.
so much. I would sooner kill our app than ever move away from our value system.
Yeah.
And so would the whole team. And because like back in the day, dating apps, like here I am, the free user experience, but I know you're mining my data, was like decent. And now they're all fucking horrible. Oh my God. The basic tiers on the dating apps, they make it so painful. And I didn't realize that's exactly what they're doing so that I scale. Um, Somebody had the idea, how about transparency, a banner with live updating on funding with a cheese pie showing what is covered from whom. Oh, wait, I love this. Do you love it? It's challenging.
Yeah, it is
And
challenging.
challenging because it forces the community to look at it forces transparency on the whole community, not just the owner team.
Yeah. Whoa. Is that type of transparency, is that what motivates like crowdfunding? Because like when I see crowdfunding pages, it's like it tells you like how much is funded and how much is left. Does that but does that visual help with the crowdfunding? Is that what
Yes.
makes people?
Yes.
Then I'm like, maybe we should try that.
Well, I kind of love it too because it's spirited. It's
Mm,
spirited. It's just saying, so back to the potluck. It's saying like we need this
right,
much food for the potluck.
right,
Here's how much food we have.
right, right. Yeah, it's same to that pay forward cafe, right, where they say how many meals are left that day.
This is so good. Nathan says, I love avoiding tech and shitification, the
Oh my
shitification of
gosh.
everything right now. And we refuse to do it. We refuse to do it. And we know that our app is shitty in actually techie ways right now that are completely outside of our ability to change. But we are going to, Abundance Zaddy is going to raise us enough money. And we also have another fundraiser who came in who's also phenomenal and is working with us where we are right now
Right,
to raise us money. And I believe the tag team experience here is going to be really, really, really helpful. And the more funds that we raise from debt free from a philanthropic point is only going to help our users and allow us to not have to put so much pressure on the user to figure it out. But I wonder if metaphysically it still matters. You know what I mean?
right.
Oh, you know what? We're ending it right here. Mel N says, I think a
Hmm.
group of people who are claiming to be here for the community need to see what the community needs help with.
Mm.
That's the bow on the entire fucking conversation. Holy shit. You guys have been so wonderful on this chat.
For real.
Thank you for allowing us to be vulnerable with you. Thank you for allowing us to be messy.
And the compassion for
Yeah.
our journey.
Our investor has asked me to stop saying the phrase, we don't know what we're doing. And
You've been doing pretty well on that. I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't heard that in a while.
Okay. So now that I feel like I've gotten it, I feel like I can say it when I mean it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like
Yeah.
I understand what she was saying because especially as the person giving us money, she's like, I don't want to give money to somebody who's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Because I think mine was coming from like a martyry,
Yeah, it was.
whiny place.
Yeah.
But we also don't know what we're doing in the sense of like we've never done this before. Like we're all in our genius zones, of course, but we've never built a business that completely flips all of these scripts.
Right.
And we have members who love to flip the script with us. I love flipping scripts.
It's the wave. I feel like it's the only way to stay awake under the chaos of where we're at right now, just collectively. Because otherwise we're like, we're sticking to a program that is outdated. So we got to flip it, redefine.
We got to pervert it. We got to be perverts.
Right? This is how you know we're getting to the end.
This is so good. This is so good. We thank you guys for being here. We've got Village Accountability Group. We now have 3 Village Accountability Groups a month. You only need to come to one, but you can come to as many as you would like. And that's where you will talk about your Village Accountability goals from last month and then set up new ones for the next month so that you are always growing your village. And mine started in November, and my village actively looks different because of the work that I have done. Anything else? Oh, and then you have a live with Holly at the end of the month where you guys talk about the behind the scenes of the app.
Yep. It was it went very well last month, so we decided to keep the same topic because, things are always changing. So we have more behind the scenes to talk about if you're curious.
Yeah. And can we add the visual fundraiser or visual state of our finances? Can we add that to our agenda for staff meetings?
Yeah. I definitely want to talk about it. How that would look visually in the app, and then how to integrate and keep it up to date in the back end. I'm curious what the team's going to think about that too. And it's fully aligned.
Yeah, it is. Right. It's not us constantly hassling to pass the tithing plate. It's just this is what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm all energized. Thank you guys for being here. Bye, you guys. Thanks for listening to Fusion Radio Live.